It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels. Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening. Hello, everybody. How are you? So let me turn on one more light in this room. Let me see if I've got a light that I can turn on. Cool. Okay, good evening, good evening. See my camera mount sneaking out there. Okay, cool. We're here for the Army List show. Good evening, everybody. Hello, Miles. Hello, Espas, Lamartes, Rexier, Philip, Pandaman. Hello, everybody. Marius, what's happening? Okay. Blood Angels Army List. We're going to be trying to do them reasonably quick tonight, so we get 6 lists. I mean, a steady stream of submissions coming in these days for lots of Sons of Sanguinius lists. Adamont, how you doing? Been a little while. So yeah, I mean, without further ado, let's get straight into talking army lists, I guess. If you've got any questions, you know you can always shout them out in chat. I do try and answer most of them. If you are a member with a beautiful green name, then remember you can use your free super chat. You just click the little plus button on the chat, or the little dollar thing, and do a free super chat. So do that as well if you have something that you're desperate to say and you don't want it to be missed. Okay, cool. So how many Sons of Sanguinius lists? I don't know. We're going to get through them. Probably last few weeks it's been very, very high amount of Sons of Sanguinius. Like 80% of the lists are Sons now. Everybody's gone back to Sons. I still think Gladius is very decent. I still think Gladius is a great detachment, and I think it is very decent for Blood Angels. I think if I was going to go back to Librarian Dreadnought, I'd probably go back to playing Gladius. But the one other thing that I do like about Gladius is Lamartez's squad? I guess Lamartez's unit that's attached to him, the Death Company, can get AP3 on their Power Fists. So I like that. Ironstorm has the highest win rate. Yeah, of course it does. But I don't know if we see that many Ironstorm Blood Angels lists. But, I mean, Ironstorm is a very good detachment if you're going to run units that benefit from it, right? Okay, this is a Sons of Sanguinius list. Chaplain on foot, Visitor of Death, Chaplain with a jump pack, Icon of the Angel, Artisan of War, Judiciar, and a Tycho the Lost. Interesting choice on Tycho. Remember, if Tycho is leading a squad of Death Company, they are still OC 0. Tycho doesn't provide the Death Company with any OC, and he, I was going to say, he doesn't have the Chaplain keyword or anything like that, right? He has Captain keyword, but I don't think that does much. But if he does get killed by a melee attack, you can roll a d6 adding 2 to the result if the enemy was a warlord, and you can do up to 9 mortal wounds to the unit that killed Tycho. So, I mean, I guess that's a reason to take him. Let's see what this list looks like. Okay. You've got the 6 Blade Guard. They'll be the Judiciar, I assume. You've got 10 Death Company Intercessors. I assume they'll be with just the generic Chaplain. You've got 10 Death Company Marines. They're on foot. I'm not sure who they're with. Okay. You've got 10 Death Company with jump packs. They'll be with the Chaplain with the jump pack. It feels bad to not have Lamartez, honestly. He's so much better, and he's only like 25 points more. Like, I would always try and take Lamartez if you're running this 10-man Death Company. I really think he's that much better. We've got Librarian Dreadnought, we've got a Repulsor, we've got a Repulsor Executioner, We got a Storm Raven gunship. Interesting list. Yeah, okay, very interesting list. Hey, I got on my list. I would like your input. Interesting. Okay. Go for it, painting. Good evening. Maximus likes Tycho. Yeah, I mean, he's not too bad, I guess. He's not that great, though, either, right? Like, he's only got a strength 4 melee attack. Yes, he does get 7 attacks at strength 5 on the charge, I guess. Only got -1 AP on it, so his AP's kind of low. His melee option's kind of low. His Dev Wound anti-infantry 4-up Meltagun is kind of interesting, I guess, in that you can do, let me get this right, it's Melta 2, and it's 2 damage, and it's 2 shots. So you can do 8 mortal wounds, I guess, with this gun, and then when he gets killed in combat, he can do up to 9 mortal wounds. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's very swingy, though, I feel like. Greetings, Alexander. How are you doing? Dirty Wizard, good evening. How are you? I ran Tycho with 5-man Death Company. Was just a missile to run into the enemy warlord. Yeah, I mean, if you can get there, cool. Why not? I like the Blade Guard and Judiciary a lot. 3 squads of Death Company, 2 chaplains, and Tycho. I mean, that's not horrific. You could probably make that work. Death Company usually need to be within 12 inches of a chaplain to have any OC. Yeah, it's been a little while, Dirty Wizard. Hope you're well. The Librarian Dreadnought feels a little bit out of place in this list because I feel like you tell... The benefit of Librarian Dreadnought really is moving shooting units around. You know, don't really have any shooting...
I have awoken.
Hey, Maximus, thank you. I think that was a renewed membership. How you doing? Thank you for being a member for 2 months. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the Librarian Dreadnought's doing here. I guess he's letting you reposition some Death Company, but we know 9-inch charges are unreliable as all hell. If you're gonna, if you feel like you need to reserve some of these Death Company, I would rather rapid ingress them. I possibly would rather a transport than the, I mean, you've got a transport actually. You've got a repulsor, and personally, I'm not a big fan of the Executioner. I've used it a few times. It's not that reliable in Blood Angels because you rarely get to stay still. It's only 2 shots from its heavy cannon, so realistically one of them's probably going to miss, and then it's down to 1 shot and you're going to either fail to wound or they're going to save it. So I'm not a fan of the Executioner. I think it'd be fine if you were playing Ironstorm. Someone mentioned Ironstorm in the chat already. I don't think it's a good choice for Sons of Sanguinius. I played it myself like 2... maybe even 3 games, and there's too many times it just bounced off and did nothing. It felt a bit like, you know, if you take a single Gladiator Lancer, it doesn't feel that impactful. That's what the Executioner felt like, and it's like 60 points more than a Gladiator Lancer. So I wouldn't take that. The Storm Raven gunship, I have one of these. I have not played it in 9th edition. I feel like I can't get excited about it when... It costs the same as a Land Raider. The Land Raider's got more toughness, more wounds, better save, more las cannons, assault ramp, all sorts of shenanigans. I guess the advantage of the gunship is you can carry a dreadnought and some guys, but for that you give up the 5 OC that the Land Raider has. And yeah, I'm just not sure about a Storm Raven gunship. I heard that, I think we were talking on the stream last night, someone said that a Dark Angels list like won a GT with 2 Storm Ravens. But I just don't think its firepower is that impactful. It's -1 damage, 14 wounds, 3 up save. But yeah, I don't think its firepower is that impactful anymore. You get like 1 twin las cannon, 1 twin multi-melta. Sorry, a twin, so it's just a twin link multi-melt. Okay. We don't see that very often. Okay, but twin multi-melta. 2 Hurricane Bolters, 2 Strength 10 missiles, -2, 3 damage. That's it, really. Because you have to replace the Typhoon missile launcher, which is basically you replace the crack missile with a multi-melt. It might actually be better keeping the crack missile, honestly. But yeah, I can't see how impactful this is, especially with OC0. It can carry 12 guys on a dreadnought. I mean, yeah. Yeah, maybe it's better in Vanguard as well because you could. It would be -1 to hit, and you would get constant cover save. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I feel like these two units I don't really like. I don't mind the cheap repulsor. I've run the cheap repulsor a bunch of times. Something's going to die in turn 1. If it's a super cheap... I feel like a 16 wound toughness 12 vehicle for 190 points is kind of cheap, right? Doesn't, regardless of the fact it doesn't have an invulnerable save, you still need to hit that thing with pretty high levels of firepower to kill it, because it's T12. So I'm actually okay with a 190 point repulsor, just running up the middle of the board with some unit in it you want to protect, and something's going to die in turn 1 or 2. If they kill the repulsor and they put all their firepower into it, and that's only 190 points, I think that's pretty good, because quite often, like in my list, I lose my Redeemer early in the game, and it's like 260 points or something. So something's going to die in the early game, right? Losing the assault ramp on the gunship. Yeah, I don't know. Had the pleasure of visiting Japan with my daughter. I got back on Wednesday. Bought a place. I paid a visit to Games Workshop in Tokyo. Is that the massive one? I saw a video of like Games Workshop in Japan, I think on YouTube, Dirty Wizard, and it was like freaking massive. I think Games Workshop have only just moved into Japan, or it must have been like another, I guess, Eastern country that they're just breaking into. Maybe it was like South Korea. But I saw this video on YouTube of like a giant Games Workshop, like almost the size of like a couple of squash court, maybe even bigger than squash courts, like a couple of tennis courts. It was massive. How's it going for Chicago? Good evening, Matt. So I don't like those units. I think that all those Death Company and the Blade Guard are pretty good. I guess if you're going to run the Librarian Dreadnought, maybe you want something like Heavy Intercessors you can throw around. This list also has no scoring units, really. So I don't like that. Like a couple of squads of scouts or a Vindicator Assassin, very, very useful for scoring points. I think there could definitely be some easy tweaks to make that list better. Okay, second list tonight is by Darryl Jackson. It's also Sons of Sanguinius. We have 2 captains, bolt pistols, and a mastercrafted bolter. This is a crap loadout for the captain, by the way. I guess he just maybe hasn't selected it, but you can have like power fists and not infernal pistols, power fists and plasma pistols. That would be better than mastercrafted bolters, I assume. Captain with the jump pack, Lamartez, lieutenant with the combi weapon, and the Sanguiroar. Quite a lot of points here in characters. That is 160, 300, 495. 565 in points in characters. To me, that seems like an awful lot. 2 Assault Intercessor squads. I assume they both go with those captains. A Death Company Dreadnought. A 10 Death Company and a 5 Death Company. A Lancer. An Infiltrator squad. A Redeemer. And 2 Scout squads. And the Calidus Assassin. Okay, I like the fact you've got 3 scoring units. And the Redeemer on its own is... decent, I guess. Like, what's inside the Redeemer? Yeah, what's inside the Redeemer? Scouts? Oh, I guess it'll be Assault Intercessors with the captain. And I guess the play there is to use the captain's once a game ability to give the Assault Intercessors Lance and +1 to wound. So, and then you reroll wounds because Assault Intercessors get to do that, and the captain can get those 3 extra attacks. So yeah, you definitely want a power fist on those captains. The lieutenant, the lieutenant and the Sanguiroar. 15 Death Company, 5 Infiltrators for the backfield. A couple of squads of Scouts, a Redeemer. I feel like 1 Lancer is kind of difficult to make work, honestly. Because it's only 2 shots. It's a bit like it's why you don't really see people run Predator Annihilators, right? Like a single Predator Annihilator. Some people run 2 because I feel like 6 las cannons is probably statistically good for killing something. But only 2 shots from the Lancer for 160 points puts me off it. I know it has some baked in hit and wound rerolls. I think it really comes down to if you play up against something like a demon army where everything's just going to save on an invuln save, then the Lancer's pretty bad. Whereas if you play against like an army that has no invuns, like another Space Marine army, then the -4 from the Lancer's turret is really, really good. I suppose it's one of the reasons like I would prefer a Vindicator tank over a Lancer most of the time, just because the Vindicator tank's going to average like 6 or 7 shots. The Lancer's going to average 2. Yes, the Lancer's got some baked-in rerolls, but 6 or 7 shots versus 2 is pretty rough. So the Stormraven's success in the Dark Angels is partly due to Dark Shroud. Yeah, it could work in a Vanguard detachment. Jubu came home from a small GT, got 4th place, 4-1 with Sons of Sanguinius. Congrats, dude. Submit your list if you want me to break your list down on the channel at some point. Submit it in a comment and give me a bit of information about the GT you're at, or just send me on Discord. Either or. Yeah, I think Lancers probably work in pairs pretty well because they outrange most opponents. But having played a bunch of games where I had a singular Lancer, when it was on its own, like I said, you've got to roll to hit, you've got to roll to wound. Usually, even if, I feel like even if I managed to roll to hit and wound on a turn, then they just rolled 2 invulnerable saves, and it was like, wow, my Lancer has done nothing again. So I've been playing Predator Annihilators, and honestly, I think the Annihilators are just as good, if not better, than the Lancers. But I guess it's personal preference. The Annihilators are cheaper. They have that one-shot hunter-killer missile. I suppose with Annihilators, they're never going to hang around the whole battle, so you just blow the hunter-killer missile on turn 1, right? I mean, that's generally the plan, is you always shoot your hunter-killer missiles off. And yeah, I feel like adding captains to assault intercessors, I know it's worked for somebody in one tournament. I guess it worked for Zach. I think I covered a video, one of Zach's lists before, like in 9th edition. So I guess Zach had a 3rd squad of scouts. He's removed that and put in a Death Company Dreadnought. We'd love to know what you think about the original list. I haven't seen the original list. But I think that captains plus assault intercessors are kind of quirky in that they will work really well against some things and then they'll just bounce really hard against other things. And I played the Sanguinary Priest plus the assault intercessors for the extra AP, right? And I ran the 10-man squad. You also get the 5-up Feel No Pain for that. And they still bounced. And they don't get their +1 to, they can't get Lance when they're not charging, which I don't like as well, because they are only strength 4. So, coming out of Land Raider is probably decent. They're probably going to mow through a bunch of, basically if your opponent's toughness 5 or less, they're probably going to be able to mow through a bunch of them. If they're not, though, they're probably going to have a serious issue. Because the second you start wounding on 5s, you can just fluff a roll. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of a singular Lancer either. The 3 scoring units I think is perfect. I like the Redeemer. I have to think about this, right? Because 10 assault intercessors are the same as 3 centurions. In my experience, having played both, I generally feel my 3 centurions will outdamage my assault intercessors. Maybe not if my centurions end up fighting like let's say like Imperial Guard or something, but most of the time that the Redeemer's far forward, the centurions aren't going after they aren't going after weak targets. Like if I had 10 assault intercessors going into like a squad of Plague Marines, or 3 centurions going into a squad of Plague Marines, I feel like I would much rather have the centurions. The extra AP, the flat 3 damage, I also feel like centurions sometimes can be quite survivable because they're on a 2-up save. They can get cover. They could get Armor of Contempt, meaning that the opponent needs to sometimes hit them with -3, or you're still on a 2-up save. Toughness 7. But just my opinion. I guess this is fine with the captains, but I prefer the 3 Centurions. Okay, anything else to say about the list? Yeah, and I personally wouldn't run a single gladiator tank. I don't think it's not got enough weight of fire. It's too swingy for me. I like my current list has 8 las cannons in it, and 4 hunter killer missiles. So take that as you were. 8 las cannons and 4 hunter killer missiles generally means that I can kill something in turn 1. Right, like I can put something Oath of Moment on an opponent 48 inches away, and I can hit them with 8 las cannons and 300 killer missiles. And yeah, maybe if I don't kill them, I probably bracket them, and that's probably good enough for me. Whereas I feel like 2 shots from the gladiator, I suppose it could do the same amount of damage, or it could just bounce horrifically from a couple of invulnerable saves. Cool. You did get to play a game in the store. The guys let me use the Blood Angels 1K squad. I got my ass kicked for not being up to date with the current meta. Yeah, okay. Well, that's cool. If you've got any pictures of the Japanese store, I'd love to see them in Discord, Dirty Wizard. Calgar says, I've seen this list. I played almost this exact list yesterday. Ah, okay. Well, I guess people are copying Zach. And there is something to be said about copying winning lists, right? Like, you can take good inspiration from lists that win tournaments. All right, next up, we are looking at the third Sons of Sanguinius list tonight. It is a Chaplain, and Lamartas, and a Sanguinary Priest. We got 10 Assault Intercessors, we got 2 Baal Predators, all the Flamers and the Hunter Killer Missiles. We got 15 Death Company again. This time we got 2 Lancers. I like this a lot better, just because I feel like 4 shots now is much more reliable. We got the squad of Infiltrators, we got the Redeemer, we got the Double Scouts, and the Callous Assassin. Alright, so 3 scoring units is great. A Redeemer to get what forward? What's inside the Redeemer? I guess 10 Assault Intercessors and the Priest. Okay, this is exactly what I tried, and then after I tried it, I fought against Talos, and I bounced so hard off them. What is the defensive profile on a Talos? And I used their +1 to wound nonsense. Whatever it's called, Red Rampage. Talos are T7, so even with Red Rampage I was only wounding on 4s, and I feel they've got a 5-up Feel No Pain, and they've got 7 wounds. Be interesting to know if you had 40 Assault Chainswords, let's just do that real quick. You had 40 of them, timesing them by chance to hit, which is 0.66. You're only wounding on 4s, so times 0.5. No, that's not right. 40 I mean, it would be 30. It would be 36 because. No, hold on, it's 50, isn't it? 50 chainswords, yes. Well, it would be 46 because the one would be a purpose, but let's just do the chainswords. So it would be 33 hits times 0.5, 16.5 wounds. It's AP2 because you got the priests attached, and their save is a 3-up, so they save on 5s. So 0.66 of the damage goes through, and then they feel no pain on 5s, so 0.66. So these guys statistically kill 1 Talos. You know, that's a 150-point squad with an 80-point character, right? No, sorry, a 170-point squad with an... Oh, right, he hasn't got that. My mistake. Hold on, this is confusing. I think he's made a mistake in this list. Because he got... Oh, there's Assault Intercessor with jump outs. Okay, so what the hell is in the Redeemer? I'm confused. I don't think... I guess he could put the 5 Death Company with the Chaplain inside with the Chaplain with the jump bag inside the Redeemer. Oh yeah, he said that. Okay, 10 Death Company in the Assault Intercessors with the Sanguinary Priest. Regardless, I guess if you're using that stratagem where you're just going Assault Intercessors, like on foot with a priest for 230 points, it's not that damaging. It feels like 230 points to do 7 wounds is not that great. Whereas like if you hit these guys with the Centurions, you'd get 12 attacks. Sure, you'd 8, but you've got 0.83333, we think, and you're twin linked, so it's 8 times 0.97. 8 times 0.97. So Centurions wound 7.7 times. They are saving on 3s. Only 66%. Sorry, they're saving on 5s, only 66% goes through, but then times 3, times their feel no pain. So if you have the Centurions, which are 150 points, versus the 150 plus the 80 for the priest, Centurions do a lot more damage. These things even have the monster keyword, so we would actually get like 4 extra hits here as well, because Centurions get sustain 2 against monsters and vehicles. So the Centurions would actually get 4 more hits. And they're already doing way more damage. That's what... Assault Intercessors are... even the ones with the jump packs doing mortal wounds, I don't think they're that exciting. You know, like... So like 170 plus 90, 260. Like against the Talos, for example, the Centurions outdamage them considerably. And you're paying 110 points more. I guess this... You know, if you've got a Redeemer anyway, because that's usually where my Centurions are, they're usually inside the Redeemer, they're usually getting across the board. Centurions are slow as shit, we know that. They need a transport. Double Lancer, double Ball Predator, and a Redeemer. It's a lot of armor, but it's got 3 scoring units, it's got 15 Death Company, it's got a squad of Infiltrators, he's kept the characters kind of low. I think this could be a decent list. He's used the enhancement for leftover points. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Yeah, this is I like this list actually. I like it a lot. There's not too much I would change here. I think this could be very playable. I feel like the one thing I don't like is there's not really any durable infantry. And sometimes if you come into those lists that are very good at killing armor, for example, like if you're playing against like Monster Mash demons, because I played against a demons list that had like Be'lakor and Shalaxi and a Bloodthirster, you know, like these sort of things that all do D6 plus 2 in melee. They're just gonna every turn they just eat a tank. They just eat one. Like it doesn't. You don't even get to save. A Bloodthirster will kill a tank. Any Space Marine tank it's in combat with, a Bloodthirster will kill it, right? So that's why I kind of like maybe not having all my points into armor like that, but I guess take it or leave it. I was going to say there's something else. Yeah, the Votan have a lot of anti-vehicle weaponry as well, and I guess the Drukhari have a lot of haywire. So that's the only downside on bringing like 5 units of armor is like you just got to be prepared for all that haywire spam and nonsense like that. But overall, I think this is a pretty good list. 25 jump infantry backed up by armor, decent balance. I might just like a more durable unit, but it's maybe okay. You know, 3 scoring units, scouts, couple of Calidus Assassin. It's good. This is a good list. Who submitted this one? Michael Glass. Oh, Michael put in a list a few weeks ago and we gave him some tweaks. Okay, I think it's good now, Michael. You got to play it now and let us know how you get on. Alright, cool. Next list. I was going to say, so Nick is Firestorm Incursion 1000 point Gabriel Seth list. Okay, interesting. Gabriel Seth's probably attached to the 5 Assault Intercessors. You've got regular Intercessors, you've got an Impulsor, you've got Aggressors with Flamers, we've got a Ballistus Dreadnought, we've got an Infernus Squad, we've got an Outrider Squad, we've got a Scout Squad, and we've got a Vindicator Squad. Excuse me. Seth with Assault Intercessors, they go in the Impulsor if the opponent has a lot of indirect. If not, the Infernus do. I'd probably still put Seth in the Impulsor just because I want to get Seth into combat as soon as possible. I'm not sure about Infernus and Outriders in 2,000 points. In 1,000 points, maybe they're okay, but in 2,000 points, I'm really not sure about them. Assault Intercessors and Infernus Marines. I feel like you've got a lot of units, maybe even I think I would try and get like a more damaging unit in there. Like, I don't think you need Intercessors and Infernus and Outriders. I would try and get a more damaging melee unit in there. I guess in 1,000 points it's hard to put Death Company in because you need to take a chaplain and that just instantly bumps the points of them really high. Yeah, that makes it really tricky, doesn't it? Infernus and Outriders are 160. I would take 2 5-man Death Company, says Lamortas. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if a Death Company in here. I just don't know how you can really do it. 160. 3 Blade Guard plus a Judiciar is 160, right? Or is a Judiciar, is he 70 or is he 75? Judiciar. He's 70. Okay, that's what I would do. I would lose the Infernus and I would lose Outriders. I'd probably take 3 Blade Guard and a Judiciar. That would give you another interesting option to put in the Impulsor. The Impulsor could always drop Seth off and then pick them up. Vanguard Veteran Squad. Do you know what, Reziel? You're probably right here. A Vanguard Veteran Squad. How many points are they again? It's like 105. Is that right? I don't run Van Vets myself, honestly, but yeah, for 1,000 points, that might be the way. That might be the way to round this list out. Can't even find them. Vanguard Veterans with jump packs. 105? Yeah, okay, I take them. Your extra 55 points. Is there any character that's 55 points? I don't think so. I think you would have to... as much as I want to take the Vanguard Veterans, I think you're then in a 1,000 point list without changing other things. You're sort of getting into a tricky position. So I'd probably take 3 Blade Guard. Yeah, or your option is to take like a 5-man squad of Voidsmen. You already have a squad of Scouts, so I'm not really sure if 1,000 in a that you feel like you need Voidsmen as well as Scouts. So yeah, for my thought here, I would probably take some Blade Guard and some Judiciar, because then they can... Outriders and Infernus Marines aren't going to do too much. I guess the Infernus Marines do get a bonus in the Firestorm detachment, but is it enough of a bonus? Because they have 0 AP, and I really think 0 AP sucks. So I think 3 Blade Guard, we know they're survivable. The Judiciar means that it would be fight first, and 1,000 points, that'd probably be pretty good. Aradine, good evening, how are you? So I'd probably make that change, Nick. I just think you need a more damaging unit. I do like the idea of the 5 Vanguard Vets. But I feel like you don't have the points for anything to lead them, which makes it awkward. How many points is a Rhino these days? Must be like 60 or 70, is it? I don't run Rhinos either. 75. Oof. Okay. Yeah, no, I think you would have to go. I'd go with the Judiciar and the Blade Guard. Okay. Let's hit up list number 5, and this is list Sons of Sanguinius again. Surprise, surprise. This list is very similar to what we had earlier. A Chaplain of the Jump Pack, a Judiciar, Lamartes, a Lieutenant, and a Sanguinary Priest. You got the 10-man Assault Squad on foot. So this is the unit I was talking about. This is an interesting... This is a unit that people think is very strong. I think you're better taking 3 Centurions. You have the regular Intercessors as well. You have the Assault Intercessor with Jump Packs. You've got the Blade Guard for the Judiciar. You've got the 10-man Death Company for Lamartes. You got Infiltrators. You got a regular Land Raider and a Redeemer. It's a nice combo. I've used this quite a lot. I'm still going to be using it even though it lost this week. You got the 2 scoring units and the Scouting. The Judiciar and the Blade Guard and the Redeemer. The Sanguinary Priest plus the Lieutenant plus the Assault Intercessors are in the Land Raider. Okay, Lamart's is with the Death Company, and the Jump Pack Chaplain is with the Assault Intercessors. Do you know what? That's probably not a bad shout, because the weakness of these guys is their wound rolls. So being able to get constant +1 without any CP spend is probably not the worst thing in the world. Not many people run a Chaplain with Jump Pack with 10 Assault Intercessors. I just don't know if that is better, because it's more expensive than 5 Death Company. Statistically, those guys get, what, 50 chainsword attacks, so they can do 50 damage. Whereas the Death Company get 20 attacks, so they can only do 40 damage. But they are quite a bit cheaper in the term of, like, 40 points cheaper. I reckon point for point, I suppose, you're probably better off with the 5-man Death Company. Easier to hide, easier to do rapid ingress with. But I get the fact that Assault Intercessors can do 5 mortal wounds on the charge, or statistically. Yeah, please, like Mike's saying, please don't forget to like the stream. I do appreciate it if you guys can hit the like button on the live streams at some point. Sup, Afalk, how you doing? What would be more useful is an Ironstorm list. 10 Death Company plus Lamartus, 6 Bladeguard plus a Judiciar, or 10 Assault Intercessors plus Mephiston. Yeah, I mean, I covered those three options really this week in the Fight First video, right? I don't think Ironstorm is the be-all and end-all, though. Like, I quite like playing Sons of Sanguinius. I feel like it's quite a good detachment for a Blood Angels army right now. I don't think I've got, like, a burning passion to play Ironstorm, even if it is slightly higher, better win rate. Yeah, so this is... Sorry, where's this? The Sanguinary Priest... plus the Assault Intercessors and the Land Raider. I mean, it's not too bad. I guess it grinds up. Like I said, I think if the enemy's toughness 5 or less, this squad grinds the crap out of them. But the second you start getting toughness 7 or more, the squad can bounce pretty hard. And it's not as damaging as you might like, because it is just 1 damage coming out from every swing. So I have been, having used these guys, I feel unimpressed with how much damage they've done. But I guess I need to use them more than 1 time. But yeah, when they swing low, it just felt like the Centurions for me were a better choice than these guys. I think I like everything else. I think I just saw lightning out my window. Judiciar with Bladeguard is very good. Lamartes with Death Company is very good. Infiltrators make a lot of sense. Double Land Raider is good as well. 2 scoring units is good as well. I have been saying that I think you probably want 3 scoring units in your list. My current list only has 2. But I think 3 is the magic number for scoring units. Do you know what? I guess I count like regular intercessors somewhat as a scoring unit, because they can move off the objectives after they've stickied them, can't they? Okay, I mean, this is a pretty decent list, Chris. I don't know what I could change here that makes this better. Yeah, I just don't run any Assault Intercessors myself, but some people have been having great success with them. I guess it's all about making sure you hit the right targets, making sure you have your right buffs, Red Rampage to use. Maybe you really need to be using Oath of Moment with the Assault Intercessors as well, because probably the big difference is Death Company get built-in hit rerolls. So that's probably why I like Death Company, because wherever they fight on the battlefield, you never need to worry about getting Oath on the right target. You're always just like really reliable rate of hitting from Death Company. Whereas, I guess with Assault Intercessors, if you get the rerolls from hits, you probably get a lot of value out of that because it's 50 attacks. So yeah, it actually goes from 33 hits if you don't have Oath to 40. So you get 11 extra hits if you Oath the target these guys are hitting. So that's significant. Based on the fact that they're +2 strength, +1 to wound, re-rolling wounds potentially, or re-rolling ones on wounds. DM, good evening. Death Company have better offense and defense too. Yeah, and yeah, so it's a weird one. I did buy 5 of these guys, the Assault Intercessors, the jump packs, and I do have 10 Firstborn painted Assault Intercessors, and I did try them out as well. I tried them out of a Land Raider. I just didn't like it. I just didn't think it was impactful enough. It's only 1 damage. It's only strength 6. And then the problem I had was that after that initial turn of strength 6 with +1 to wound, then you drop back down to strength 4. Strength 4 doesn't kill shit, I guess. Not when the Death Company are strength 10 or strength 8. And the baked in rerolls to hit. I know some people have had great success with these Assault Intercessors. I think you just got to be really confident they're going to kill what they're going to go after, because I think if they don't kill what they go after, then they can potentially get like tar pitted and not do that much work, right? Okay, list number 6 today. We've been flying through lists today. Okay, Rexer has submitted a list with 3 Judiciars. There is diminishing returns on running Judiciars because you can only fight first with 1 unit. But okay, let's see what this is. And Lamartes. We've got 3 Rhinos. I'm actually afraid now. So 3 Rhinos, 3 Judiciars, 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts, 3 10-man squads of Death Company. I think this is a mix-up. I think he's confused. Judiciars cannot lead Death Company Marines. I'm like 90% sure of it. I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure they can. We'll wait for it to load. And then and Judiciars are also 100% checked this last night on stream that they are not chaplains. So all your Death Company in this list would be OC0. So that's like a double whammy here. Well, PDS failing to load for me. Nice. I'll check out my app on the phone on my app. On the phone on my app. On the app on my phone. You would need to replace all 3 with first. Well, they're not firstborn anymore, are they? They're just. You would need to replace all 3 of them. Judiciars cannot lead. They can lead Assault Intercessors. Have they changed what Assault Intercessors can do? Assault Intercessors. No? Death Company Marines. If a chaplain model from your army with a leader ability can be attached to a tactical squad, it can be attached to this unit instead. Yeah, so only chaplains. Okay, yeah. So you'd have to replace this out with chaplains. You could do that. And how many points is a chaplain? 60. Okay, so you would save yourself 30 points. Rhino. I mean, it's someone almost won a tournament, I believe, with 7 Death Company units. So it is possible to do that. Good evening, Ben. I hit the first fight first. I The strongest version of the Assault Intercessor's build I've seen for events is the minimum size unit that mimics the Chaos Space Marines Index build with the Chaos Lords and Chosen. Yeah, I think the minimum size unit with the Captain seems to be what people are doing. But, like I said, I just think you've got to be super on point with what you're actually targeting there. Because the second you target anything over T6, potentially you have a really high percentage chance of bouncing, right? Even if you have +1 to, or rerolls to wound and +1 to wound. I was really underwhelmed when I used 10 Assault Intercessors with a Sanguinary Priest. So underwhelmed that I dropped them from the list straight away. I was like, I just felt like for 230 points, they did not do nearly enough damage. And then, like, I think the targets they can hit are very limited as well. So this last list is a bit of a mistake. I guess 3 chaplains, each running 10 Death Company in Rhinos, along with 10 Death Company in the air, along with 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts. I mean, the damage output of the list is good, but I feel like you've got no scoring units, so you need, like, to drop a Dreadnought or a squad or something and get some scouts, and you've got nothing to hold your backfield objective as well, slash screen. So this list feels a little bit more like a meme list. Like you just want to have fun. Sure, yeah, if you just want to have fun and run 7 Death Company units straight at your opponent, it would have been even more fun if you had 3 units that fight first, but I guess you can't have that. But you can have all of them have +1 to wound all the time because they're all attached to Firstborn Chaplain, and that's what they give. And there is one other advantage of those Firstborn Chaplains. I believe they give like a auto pass battle shock within 12 inches or something like that. I don't really run the Chaplain on foot. Yeah, once per battle, at the start of any phase, you can select one friendly unit that's battle shocked within 12. This unit is no longer battle shocked. That could be interesting in a way, right? Not that I've ever seen this play done, but if a Rhino got blew up with the Death Company on an objective, all the Death Company spill out of the objective, and they're battle shocked. But then at the start of any phase, you could flip it back. You could just be like, yeah, they're not battle shocked anymore. So, like, if your opponent killed your tank with Overwatch, you guys spill out onto the objective and they're battle shocked. Now it's your opponent's command phase. At the start of the command phase, you can say they're no longer battle shocked. That's my objective. Like the start of their command phase. There's an interesting play there, but it probably doesn't come up very often. But it could come up, I suppose. Yeah. So this last list is a bit of a doozer. It's a bit all over the place. You need to get some scouts. If you want to include the Judiciar, you really probably need to think about some Blade Guard. And while 7 Death Company units will win games, I'm not sure I think it's quite a high skill cap, right? Like, I think you have to be a pretty thick player probably to be running 7 Death Company and winning tournaments or events. Let me see. I got this playlist on my channel. I'll put it in the chat here. And there was this video which was second place at 50 player GT with Death Company. Apparently we need to play EVE Online. Hold on.
Greetings, friends, and welcome to this week.
So it was like 5 Death Company with hammers, 5 Death Company with hammers, 10 with jump packs, 10 with jump packs, 5 with jump packs, Dread and Dread. So 2 Dreads, 3 squads with jump packs, 2 squads on foot. Was there a Rhino? Yeah, and 1 Rhino. I guess 2 squads were inside the Rhino. So you can use 7 squads of Death Company, but look, he's got 2 scoring units. He's got the unit to hold his backfield. I guess he's got 2 Assault Intercessor units just to maybe do some actions, do some side holding as well. So I think this list that Rexer's posted isn't a million miles away from this, but I would go and look like Infiltrators plus 2 units of scouts, right? If you're going to run the whole rest of your army as Death Company, I think you still want this, because this will just score you points, right? And then, yeah, so he had 7 units of Death Company, 3 chaplains. So you almost need to, for every 2 units of Death Company, you probably need to have 1 chaplain. So this list where you're going to have 4 chaplains once you swap all these guys out, possibly actually has 1 too many chaplains. Because he's done 3 chaplains for 7, you're doing 4 chaplains for 7, so arguably, yeah, we're aware that the Judiciaries are wrong. He made a mistake here. I guess these all needed to be chaplains. And they are 60 points. Okay, Crozier says, good evening, John. Wondering if I should still invest into Firstborn Death Company because I'm worried they will be removed from the game soon, but I kind of need more right now. Proxy them, man, because everybody is worried that they're Firstborn Death Company. Don't go out and buy Death Company, because yes, no one knows what's happening with Blood Angels. Everyone's worried about Death Company, about Sanguinary Guard. I have no inside information. Games Workshop don't tell me anything, so I can't help you. But it's a question I get asked like literally on every week. Where I am is I just don't buy Firstborn models anymore. I would, if I was doing it, I guess I would buy a squad of those new Assault Intercessors. I'd just tell my opponent that they're Death Company with Power Fist and Chainsword and Power Fist and Infernal Pistols, even if they've got the wrong weapon loadout. I just don't care anymore, because I tried to care so hard. It almost seems like every edition they just change all the weapon options now, and I think I'm beyond caring. Hi from Barcelona. Good evening, Basilou. How are you? Okay, so that is it. That is 6 lists. We got through that quickly tonight. Maybe I was going too fast. If I was going too fast, I'm sorry. I felt like if I've got 6 lists, I need to go fast so it doesn't get boring. But yeah, it's really difficult actually to know what to do with the removal of Firstborn. But if the thing that happened this week with Age of Sigmar tells you anything, then expect units to not have the longest shelf lives anymore, I guess. Like some of those Age of Sigmar models that got Legends this week are only 6 years. They're from 2nd edition. They just released 4th edition. They only have 3 years between. So they're legending models that are only 6 years old now. So I don't know, you could even buy those Assault Intercessors in 6 years. I'm sure I have boxes of stuff here that's been on these shelves for 6 years that I have not touched. And for them to go to Legends is pretty scary. So yeah, I would buy the new models, and just make sure you, before the game happens, you tell your opponent what those models are supposed to be. As long as they're on the right size bases and they're of similar height, then I feel like there's no issue, right? It's like, I have an issue if you were going to take like the wings off Sanguinary Guard, because they have wings on the model. So if you take off all the wings, then arguably you make those models smaller, and people could argue, well, you've made those models smaller, so you're trying to model for advantage so you can hide more of them in a ruin. But if you have Death Company with any weapons, or you have Assault Intercessors with jump packs with any weapon options, and you want to run them as something else, hell, you want to run them as Vanguard Veterans with Storm Shields, as long as you tell me before the game, hey, that squad there is all Vanguard Veterans with Storm Shields and heirloom weapons, I'm like, cool, yeah, thanks. That's all I need to know. If you are going to a tournament, check with a TO. But we're running a GT in the summer, and I'll tell you right now that as long as people are clear with their opponent of what they're playing, it doesn't have to be WYSIWYG. I think it's Games Workshop have kind of killed WYSIWYG with this new edition, removing all the points for all the weapons. Like they've done that to themselves, I guess. Rizio says what matters most is who and where and what you play. Yeah. If you play a GW store, you need to be WYSIWYG. You need to have all the official models. If you play most anywhere else, there's probably a very good degree of leeway. So, please like the stream if you got any value out of it, if you enjoyed it. If you want to leave your list for a future Army List show, after the stream ends, you can just put your list in this sort of format, right, like this. into the comments on this video, or any of the videos on my YouTube channel. Actually, if you just put a new comment with your list and ask for it to be added to the army list show queue, I will get to you. Channel members get a bit of priority on their lists being reviewed. Thank you so much to the channel members that support me each and every month. You do really appreciate you guys. Join the Discord if you haven't done that. Like the stream before you leave. I'll catch you Wednesday night. I'm playing Miles. So it'll be another game in the Tabletop Tactics League. I don't know where I am in the league right now, I'll tell you. Did any of you guys join the Tabletop Tactics League yet? Because you should. I am actually 8th. Don't know if you can read that. Blood Angels Commander, 8th. 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. There's about 300 players in this league, so 8th is not too bad. I don't actually know how to see how many is in the league. Open web page, maybe that'll tell me. Yeah, I don't know how many is in the league. I think there was at least 100, maybe more. My leagues. Yeah, they don't make it easy to see how many people. I suppose I could just scroll forever until I get to the bottom of the leaderboard. Well, there's at least 200 odd players in here. Yeah, there's over 250 people in this league now. Actually, hold on, it looks like there's more than 300. So yeah, join the Tabletop Tactics League if you haven't. I think it's cool. Check their channel out. They're apparently adding more because I was asking a few questions about it. So hopefully it'll get more active and grow even bigger. But yeah, enjoy your weekend, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you later this week. Leave a like. I'm pretty sure most of you subscribed. If you aren't, consider doing that. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.